Welcome everybody to Blub Talks episode number 3. Today I have a special opportunity to host an amazing guest, Abigail Adams, and her father Steve. She has quite an inspiring story that we want to discuss through this podcast. And since we are all about achievements, overcoming obstacles, reaching one's full potential today, this is going to be the theme of the talks today. Just a short introduction. Abigail, when I read all the things you do, I was really surprised. I know you are a public speaker, you are a model, an actress, an athlete. You appeared on Oprah Winfrey Network, on Macy's Parade. I know you shoot commercials for Disney Universal. You even starred in Alice Wonderland, right? And yeah, it's just like, I was truly amazed, and I would love to discuss all those things with you. But to keep it simple, let's start first with a basic introduction. Like, tell us a little about yourself. How old are you? What do you do nowadays, and stuff like that?
Okay, and I am Abigail Adams, and I love exercising, and I love to spend time with my friends and my boyfriend.
Awesome. And how old are you?
I'm 20.
20, and you already achieved all those things. That is so amazing. Okay, great. You mentioned you like exercising. I noticed that you have a big passion for sports. What are all the sport activities you like to do? Like a couple of them, if you could name them.
Okay, I do paddleboarding, gymnastics, cheerleading, swimming, surfing, and doing a triathlon with my friend Chris.
Awesome. Is there any that is your favorite, or are they? Yeah.
My favorite is gymnastics.
Gymnastics, awesome. And how long have you been doing gymnastics?
Since 18 years in that community in Special Olympics.
Okay, great. I'm a big sports fan too, by the way, just to mention. And when I was reading all the sports you do, I was just like, wow, even like I don't even do half as much sports. So yeah. You mentioned before that you did a ton of different activities during high school along with sports. What are like maybe some activities you do today that you like to do? I don't know, for example, I know you mentioned dancing. Obviously you do acting, right? Are there any other things you like to do in your spare time?
I like to do, mostly I love to watch TV.
Okay.
And I like to read.
Okay. Do you have, go ahead.
So what other activities? Now, what do you do? How do you stay in touch with your friends?
I FaceTime, and sometimes I Snapchat them. And also I go on Facebook and Instagram, then yes.
Okay. So I would assume you love spending time with your friends?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. You mentioned TV. Like, what do you like to watch? Do you watch movies? Are you a series fan? Anything in particular?
Well, particular, I watch Disney shows.
Okay. Now that you mentioned Disney, and like speaking of acting, we mentioned you're an actress, right?
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that. Where, like, in what films did you star in? I know you mentioned some commercials you were in.
Well, I did some commercials with Disney, and the one with commercial with Universal Studios with my boyfriend.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and also I did Shakespeare with Heart. I was Miranda, Dash, and some of the other characters.
Awesome, and I know you mentioned Cinderella too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also Cinderella.
Yeah. How do you feel like acting? Do you like it? Is it something that you want to pursue in the future? Like, you still want to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Let me just check. I wanted to kind of prepare some questions so we can talk about all the other stuff too. Okay, next thing, I think this is like an interesting topic, makeup and fashion. I know you mentioned that. Tell me more about it, like the makeup. I kind of noticed I assume you're quite good at putting on a makeup.
Well, I love makeup. I love doing fashion shows. There's
Yeah.
one time I did my first pageant.
Oh, really? And how was it?
It was awesome.
Great. Do you also do makeup for your friends, like when they need it?
Oh, well, for the dream team cheerleading, I do the makeup.
Okay. You mentioned the cheerleading. Do you still do that? Do you still practice it?
Well, I do, ever since COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can pursue the dream of being a cheerleader, then yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the COVID's really put a crimp on the activities they do together, but
That makes sense.
that's cheerleading. Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I assume, like, I mean, we haven't touched the COVID situation, but I assume a lot of the activities are kind of now on hold because of that, right? Especially social activities.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. On a bit more serious note, if you will, I know you mentioned you have a pretty cool nickname. May I know what is it?
Sure. It's Abigail the Advocate.
Awesome. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but maybe like for you, what does it mean to you, like to be an advocate, to be able to kind of spread the word, the awareness about Down syndrome and how it's something that's not going to stop you maybe, or how you can like still reach your full potential with it?
Well, it helps me to be motivational, and advocate means like it's like a type of a teacher, but it's not. It's like an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do love people and love kids.
Yeah. And do you feel like I know you mentioned like, is it like a kind of a motto or something? But all you have to do is get 1% better every day. I know you mentioned that. I really like this one. It's basically like just small steps, right? Try to be a little bit better every day.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Now, if we focus maybe on the part from, like, for example, you mentioned that, maybe a question for you, Steve. You mentioned like early intervention was super important in your case, in Abigail's case. She began a variety of therapies that actually help her to be successful in life, right?
Yes, that's absolutely right.
And go ahead.
It's really important, I think, for especially parents who have just received a diagnosis to know that there are a lot of potential successes that your children can have. Mm-hmm. And despite what you may be told by people in society, people in the medical profession, mm-hmm. if you're not afraid to try, if you can stay consistent and not be afraid of failure, but to know that just like everybody else, people with Down syndrome or any other cognitive disability have abilities. And mm-hmm. it's important to be able to work to find those. And so just my 2 cents worth is make sure that you're not what's keeping your loved one from being successful. Don't keep them from trying things. And if they don't succeed at first, don't be afraid to keep trying.
Yeah, I could not agree with that more. One of the therapies was obviously speech therapy, right? And I mean, since we are Speech Blubs, we have a speech therapy app. Maybe I want to focus a little bit about that. For example, like what kind of problems did Abigail have in the beginning in terms of speech? And how did speech therapy help? Both of you can answer if you will, either of you.
Well, speech therapy is something that Abigail started very early.
Yes, very early.
Yeah, when actually she was an infant, she started oral motor skills, which one of the symptoms of having Down syndrome is having low tone, which means that the muscles are weaker than in a typical person. And that also affects the speech patterns because the muscles in the face that control speech are weaker than they need to be. And so starting at an early age has helped Abigail quite a bit, actually just phenomenally. The amount of difference that's made in her life is just impossible to measure because there are so many things that come from that. Being able to speak, she's able to interact with her peers. She's able to participate in events that she would not be able to if her speech was not as good as it is. And she's also able to help her friends. And that's a large part of being an advocate, is she's able to help her friends to participate in things that they normally wouldn't have been able to participate in. She can help them to understand and help them to be more clear.
Right.
No.
Would you agree with that?
Yes. These are my friends.
Yeah. And I agree with you two guys 100% too.
Speech is one of the main components of a child's development. Without speech, it is so much harder for children to express their needs, feelings, and opinions. The ability to speak also impacts their confidence, ability to connect with others, and success in life. We believe that every parent wants that for their child. Boost your child's ability to speak. Download Speech Blub's fun and educational speech app, used by more than 2 million parents, just like you.
What about the practices? Like, I know speech therapy is probably like a small percentage of your life, right? You maybe go once a week or twice a week or whatever it is, right? But all the other time you're still at home. Did you practice a lot at home too? Was it like constantly practicing at home, rehearsing the skills and everything?
Well, I'm doing for tomorrow. Every Wednesday before I do, my brother needs the time to be with my speech therapist, Mr. Vinny, and then after Daniel's turn is my turn.
So how many times a week do you do speech therapy?
Week.
Every
a week on Wednesday.
Yeah, every Wednesday. So she has therapy, and she's had speech therapy for, I guess, about 16 years.
Yes.
Longer if you count the oral motor skills. And as far as the informal or the practicing at home, it goes everywhere. I mean, it's something that we've been working on since she was born, where when we're at speech therapy, there are things that she picks up, but when she's out in society, when we're at a restaurant, when we're at a social event, when we're just alone in the car, there are things that are important that have helped her that are to repeat it. If she doesn't say something clearly, I must ask her 100 times a day to please say that more clearly.
Yes.
I think to the point where I think she gets tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
But the point is that it helps her. And the fact that I think some people are self-conscious about correcting their children or asking them to speak clearly or please close your mouth. Abigail and I have a sort of our own mini sign language where I'll tell her to, if she's unconsciously has her mouth open, I'll just do this to remind her to put her lips together. And then, or if she's not speaking clearly or speaking loud enough, just speak up. Not big things, but reminders that are constant. And do they help, Abigail?
Yes, they do help.
It sounds like it's kind of a game, even like to make it fun, not just
Yes.
Yeah, it is fun.
Awesome. Abigail, do you have at speech therapy, do you have any favorite practices, like something you like to do, or?
Sometimes with my speech therapist, if I don't do my interview cards, I do it with him and also listening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And yeah.
There's, just to clarify that a little bit, the part that they have a back and forth it's much like a regular conversation like we're having now, and where it will be expanded on. It's not just the pronouncing the words clearly, it's also the thought process that goes with it. All right, what did you have for lunch? I had a sandwich. Well, what kind of sandwich? Did you have meat in it? Let's ask for more details. And another thing that's been important is in the speech therapy that we're focused on in a daily basis is expand on things. We aren't going to take excuses like, I don't know. I think that's something that a lot of kids with special needs fall into, and the reaction of a typical teacher or person who just meets them in passing is, well, they have special needs, they don't understand, I'm going to drop it. And that's not something that we do in our house. Is if you don't know, we can explain it, but we're not going to stop talking because you say you don't know, or I'm tired, or the dozen other headaches that happen. It's just not productive, and we need to work on being productive as much as we can all the time. Yeah,
I completely agree. And it's all about, it's all about consistency with speech, right? Doing it day in, day out. It's something we kind of advise parents to kind of set up a routine, to kind of talk as much as you can on a daily basis, and just to be curious, to ask questions, to kind of spark conversation this way. And while you're doing that, you're actually learning language, you're actually repeating, reinforcing that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we're, believe me, we're a long ways from having the perfect recipe. There are days when there's way too much phone time, there's way too much social media, way too much TV. And these are things that we are working on. And the results have been really positive, more than I dreamed could have happened. I think Abigail's had an incredible life, a much more adventurous childhood than I had, or that many people I know have had. Yeah. And so I feel that we're blessed in that regard, but a lot of it is hard work. Abigail is a very hard worker.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like, as I said, just from reading your description that you sent, watching the short interview you guys did, which was awesome, by the way, it just seems like you have already experienced so much. You're doing so many amazing things, and God knows what yet is to come, right? There are so many opportunities. By the way, I also heard, if I heard correctly, you met someone at speech therapy, your boyfriend?
Yes.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
15 years ago in the reading room at speech therapy in the reading room, yes.
Awesome.
Waiting room, yes.
Yeah. Waiting room, yes.
Okay. And his name is Chris?
No, Chad.
Chad, sorry. I apologize. Yeah. Do you spend a lot of time together? Do you like being with him?
Yes.
Yeah.
And God knows who will button the future up with my boyfriend.
Yeah. It's so fun. It's so, like, it was always like I kind of laughed a little bit when Spela, my coworker, showed me the video, and when you mentioned your boyfriend, that a huge smile came on your face, and it seems like he's like a really kind of positive influence in your life. It kind of shows that way.
He is.
That's really, really awesome. I mean, I think we basically covered everything that I kind of wanted to speak. As I said, I don't want to go too in depth and don't want to keep it for too long. So I guess we can kind of slowly break it here. So maybe Abigail, do you have any like advice for your, I don't know, for the fellow listeners? Do you have any mottos or any kind of a quotes or something you go by that you would want to share with them?
Actually, I want to show you too. We try be confident and help others.
Awesome. I think that's a really great advice, and if like everybody would follow that advice, the world would be such a great place to live in. I wish to thank you both for being here, and we're probably going to meet sometime in the future again. I would love to have you in the future again if you would will. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. Thank you for being my guest. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys later.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Bye.
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 Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest at SpeechBlubs. Visit our website, speechblubs.com, for more information on speech development created by experts. Last but not least, download the SpeechBlubs app to explore how you can improve your child's speech with us.